Going beneath the waves. Going beneath the waves.
Hello there, BTW fam. Welcome to another Beneath the Waves PWHL focused podcast. And I know it's been a little bit since you've heard my voice, but I'm Heather and I have some just really fun things to share with you today. I've got some new signings to talk about since I was last in your ear, as well as some content that you really can only get from me. So I'm excited to share. And, you know, as the guys mentioned on our main podcast, they did share that I am now a writer for the Hockey News, specifically the Women's Roundtable, and I will be covering the PWHL Seattle team for them all season. So I'm going to have so much for you this season, and you're going to get some insider scoop right here, right now. So let's dive in. To start today, I am going to give you a little bit of news since the last time we spoke, because I like to pretend that we're sitting down together over a cup of coffee, chatting about hockey. So since the last time you and I spoke, there's been a bit of news. So I'm just going to recap that briefly. I'm going to start with the entry draft. So since we last spoke, the entry draft did take place. It was on June 24th. There was a total of 48 players selected, 6 players for each of the 8 teams. So PWHL Vancouver and PWHL Seattle selected 7th and 8th respectively, and then alternated between 7 and 8 each round. Seattle had a great draft, and I'm just going to give you a quick list of the 6 selected, and then from there we can kind of talk a little bit more about overall thoughts. In round 1, the 8th overall pick was forward Jenna Buglioni from Ohio State. In round 2, the 15th overall pick was goalie Hannah Murphy from Colgate. In round 3, the 24th overall pick was forward Lily Dilianitis from Cornell. In round 4, the 31st overall pick was forward Jada Habish from the University of Connecticut. In round 5, the 40th overall pick was defender Lindy Lobdell from Penn State. And in round 6, the 47th overall pick was Olivia Wallen from Minnesota Duluth. So of the draft, General Manager Megan Turner said, "I'm very happy with our draft pick. It's the roster I was hoping for with the mix of players we selected from both drafts. We have a strong player group from the expansion draft, and all of tonight's draft picks complement our existing group. I feel like a broken record when I say how excited I am to bring this team to Seattle. Seattle is a great city, and its women's hockey fans are already dialed into our team. The players and coaches are excited to dive into the community and show Seattle how elite our athletes are. We are looking to win a championship in year 1. So I love that because I also can't stop using the word excited. So when she said she was like a broken record, I'm like, yeah, me too. So far of the entry drafts, Jenna Buglioni and Hannah Murphy have both signed 2-year deals. And I was lucky enough to to sit down on Zoom with Lily Dilianitis and also sit down in person with Jenna Buglioni for interviews. So I want to talk a little bit about Lily first. One of the things that I really appreciated about her is that she talked about what it's like being drafted. And I think this is so cool. So I'm just going to read this little quote real quick. She said, "I know the league has existed a couple years now, but even just being drafted, being able to play hockey after college, I didn't think that was an option for me. Just with growing up, obviously the league didn't exist, so it's just been really exciting, and there's this opportunity now, and I think it's going to be great for women's hockey in general, just for little girls to be able to watch and have the ability to see that they too can grow up and play women's hockey, professional hockey." All the feels when she said that, for sure. It's so true, though, that was something that these players did not grow up thinking was going to be a possibility, and now it's here. So I just think that is so cool. And that one, like, little tear, all the feels. What was really fun is that I actually also got to sit down with Jenna, whose nickname is Bugs. And that was such a treat for me just because, you know, she's our first ever draft pick. I think that's really cool. But you'll have to read my article. I'm going to plug that a lot today. Read these articles. I think there's so much good information in them. I know I'm verbose and I know that I really did deep dives, but I promise it's so worth it to get all this cool information about these players. But I loved one of the things she said is she's not very superstitious. And I kind of joked and said she's just a little stitious because she definitely has some things she does. If you're an Office fan, you know that reference. But she said she puts on her right skate before her left, but ties her left before her right. And then she always takes a pickle juice shot before she plays. But one of the things I also loved was really hearing her describe her style of play. So I have a little clip for you to talk about that here. What can fans look for with your play on the ice? Like, I think we're going to have people that have watched you, but also I think we're going to have so many brand new people coming in. What can they expect from you on the ice?
Yeah, that's very exciting, kind of having that brand new fan base to tap into. Yes. I think I'm a little bit of a spitfire on the ice. I bring a little bit of spunk to my play just with my energy that I bring. But from a hockey sense, I'm very reliable. I'm very consistent. I like to play hard-nosed, physical, like kind of get in the gritty areas. And then someone with high hockey IQ. Yes. I think those are some things that I know I'm very strong at, and I hope to be able to be strong at in this league. And whatever role the team might need me to be, like I'm going to try to be the best I can in that area. And I'm just excited to learn like players from Emily, Hilary, Carpenter, Eldridge, all these people that are coming in, Barnes, with their experience and their hockey resumes. Just have so much to learn, and starting my professional career around people like that is something that I could have only dreamed of.
So I love hearing that she's a little spitfire. I think that's so cool. So what a great first draft pick, and I'm so glad that she has the signing out of the way, and she told me that too. It's good to just have it out of the way, and now she can just focus on the part that she's good at, which is the hockey part, the playing part. All right, so after the entry draft, there were a few new signings as well, aside from our two entry draft picks. First up is Carly Jackson. They're a goaltender previously with the Scepters, and they signed a 1-year agreement in Seattle. This is a really exciting signing for so many reasons, but CJ, as they're known, just incredible. In their first career start, they had 25 saves, and it was a shootout win. Like, totally came into the league with a bang. I love this pick so much. Of the signing, Meg Turner said, "We are thrilled to welcome CJ to Seattle. They are dedicated in every way as an athlete, a teammate, and an ambassador in the community. CJ consistently demonstrates our values and will be a key component of our goalie group and team." And CJ said, "I'm stoked to be a part of the historic team in the Emerald City, especially a city that hosts legendary women's sports and careers and teams like Sue Bird and the Seattle Storm. I'm ready to bring it to the rink. Let's do this, Seattle." So very, very cool signing there. Anna Wilgren was acquired in the expansion draft, and she signed a 1-year agreement with Seattle. She had 9 points in 30 games in her rookie season last year, and she also was at the takeover tour here in Seattle as part of the Victoire, so that's also just a great tie-in there too. Meg Turner said, "We're excited to have Anna representing Seattle this season. Anna made an immediate impact in her first year with strong defensive play and the ability to contribute to all zones. She's tough to play against and will be a great fit in our organization." And Anna said, "I am so excited to be part of bringing women's hockey to the West Coast. The energy that Seattle fans brought to last year's PWHL Takeover Tour was incredible. I can't wait to play in front of such passionate women's sports fan base every night with such a talented group of athletes." So that's really cool too. For those quotes and a little bit more on them, definitely check out the PWHL Seattle website. They have a little bit more information, and you can kind of read some more stats about them as well, but both really amazing signings, and I'm so excited for that. So sort of last in my podcasting today, I have just some fun little clips for you and some insight into these interviews that I did. And I thought I would just take a few minutes and give kind of a rundown of these. I feel so lucky, so privileged to be able to do these. And I think, just really a dream come true for me to be able to just sit down and get to talk about hockey is amazing. But then to get to sit down with players, and when you hear who I sat down with, like it's amazing. So first I want to just share that I got to do a Zoom interview with Natalie Snodgrass, and she is really fun. She is really funny. And I think what I loved about her story is that she actually was helping out with Kraken youth hockey here in Seattle and felt like she sort of like manifested a return here.
I have been to Seattle once. One of my all-time favorite coaches, Caitlin Parker. Yep. She was my assistant coach at college. She now works for the Seattle Kraken organization. A few years ago, she invited me over to help coach a Kraken youth hockey camp. Love it. And it was during that weekend I got to see the sites and do some touristy things. And when she dropped me off at the airport, I remember looking at her and being like, "Parks, I could live here. Like, this was awesome." Like, and that was the only time I've been. So I think I manifested this.
She also told me that she loves funny signs, so everyone needs to start thinking of good signs for her right away. I think that's really fun, but how cool that she feels like she sort of like manifested it. I think that's that's just really neat. And I totally agree and believe in all that. So I think she did. In July, a group of players came to Seattle for the first kind of media tour, and I got to sit down with 3 of them and also talk to Coach Steve O'Rourke via the phone during that time as well. So one of those 3 that I did sit down with was Bugs, who I spoke about earlier. You got to hear a little bit about her, but I also got to sit down with Cayla Barnes. And what's kind of funny about that one is that we did this interview at the Kraken Community Iceplex, and if you're familiar with it at all, we were in Rink 2, and we were sort of like in the back, and we were in this like small little locker room. And you know, throughout my interviews, as I'm like grabbing clips and stuff, I'm hearing like whistles blowing because there was like youth hockey going on. And so just really fun to have those experiences and get to sit down with players, and especially in a small setting like that. So if you read my article, you've heard her story about the takeover tour, definitely go check out that article. She's just really fun. And Yahoo Sports actually picked that one up. So really cool for me to experience that too. But I loved her little story about that. So definitely go. I put that clip there. But I also loved her excitement and understanding about the fan base and the interactions that players have and the impact they have on them. So I have a little clip for you about that.
I mean, I think I'm just really excited to meet all of them.
Yeah.
I'm a person that really likes to engage with fans, and, you know, so if you see me walking around or, you know, whatever, you know, say hello. I love to engage with fans. I love to meet new people.
Yeah,
and just, you know, I have a pretty like lively personality. So just engaging with people, and super excited to just meet all of them and see like their support for us. But also know that we support you as, you know, our fan base. We take a lot of pride, obviously, in playing for Seattle. So I think it'll be a really fun year, and just excited to get going with all of them and build a, you know, a partnership with our fans and us.
And I just think that it's really cool. She knows that there's going to be this, you know, a relationship between fans and players, and, you know, how it's not just us supporting them, it's them supporting us as fans. I just think that's really cool, and what a great mindset. I also got to sit down with Hilary Knight, and I don't know what else to say except that, wow, mind blown that I got to do that. I'll tell you a little funny behind the scenes story just because I think it's funny. But I arrived at this building downtown where we were doing the interviews. I got to the 7th floor where it was taking place, and I found the door that, like, you know, whatever room it was, and it was locked. So I'm about to text the media relations contact when this guy walked up, and he's like, "Hey, do you need in?" And I said, "Yes." So he swiped his card and let me in, and I'm kind of like standing there, and he's like, "Oh, they're all over there." And so I kind of go around the corner thinking they're like, you know, in this closed, you know, room or something. Nope, they're all just sitting there like in a conference room, door open, just chit-chatting. And I was like, okay, I have no idea what to do right now. So I just kind of waved. And the funny thing was, like, Hilary immediately like just waved back like, oh, okay, you know. It was just so funny to me. So anyway, I was early, so I just kind of went and sat. There was like a little waiting room, so I just went and sat there and, you know, told the media person, I'm here, I'm ready, whenever. But just super funny. In case you're ever wondering if I have it all together, nope, I do not. But Hilary Knight did wave at me, so I don't know. I might put that on my resume. But anyway, Hilary's just such an amazing human being, and our conversation flowed so easily. I really loved getting to chat with her. We got to talk even a little bit about places to live and how important it is to have that home space where you're really feeling confident, comfortable, and, you know, you can really, you know, find yourself that Zen moment, especially when you have such a busy season and it's an Olympic year. So I think she really wants to build something here in Seattle for the long term, and I love that about her. She knows that there's a huge legacy of women's sports here. She wants to build on that, and that just made my heart absolutely soar. But just in listening to her talk about Seattle in the upcoming season was really exciting to me, so I thought I'd share just a little clip with that in it.
Really excited about the opportunity with the challenge. I mean, it's going to be so much fun. And then, you know, I think you can't go wrong if you've got great people. And the city's amazing. The fan support we've already felt. Like, we're here as sort of visitors, right? And now we're here as this is our home. You know, going to the Storm game last night, it's just incredible, the support. So I feel like we're in a really good spot.
But how lucky are we just to have her here? I mean, she was on my list of, like, if we get Hilary Knight, like, I'm just going to pinch myself because it's incredible. And we did. So I think that's really cool. Finally, last interview I want to talk about is with Coach. And, I think we didn't know a ton about him, very little, just a little bit about his background and whatnot. But he was so enthusiastic and so excited. And I think we're just really lucky to have him. Like, he had so much information to share with me that it was actually jam-packed enough that I had to split this interview into 2 articles. He has such an amazing attitude towards how he's going to interact with the players and how he's going to bring them together. And one of the things that he wants to do is really build up the female coaching, network here and work on developing more female coaches, women's coaches. And I think that is such a great mission because, you look at people like Jessica Campbell and, she's there behind the bench, and that's showing girls that, hey, there's another career that they might not have even thought about. And I think that the representation is so important. So I really loved that about him. And I asked him a little bit about his coaching style. My article has a ton of details. Again, I'm verbose, I know that, but I loved this little bit.
I joke with people who ask, so what do you do? Well, I coach. Well, what's coaching? Well, I do the same as everyone else. I just try to do it better than the person beside me. Yeah. We're all doing the same thing, right? But so how do we do it better? And I think the one area that I focused on in the last number of years is just trying to get better at the human side. I think that's the advantage. It's not X's and O's. Yeah. It's the human side of it. Absolutely. Like, how do I connect with that player? Yeah. And again, I just keep trying to get better at, I know who I am. I know my personality might not match with that person, right? But how do I connect with them still? Like, how do I get the most out of them just because they like X and I like Y?
But I love that he's really focused on the human aspects of coaching and focusing on the players. It's not just about winning. It's about the players and the experience that they have. And I think that, like he said, that makes the difference. And I truly, truly believe that. So I think this is going to be such a great fit here. I think it's going to be so cool to see how he brings all these players together and puts the lines together. And I'm so excited to see a practice too. And with that, I'm going to end it here, but I do want to say, please go check out my articles on the Hockey News Women's Roundtable. You can just go to Hockey News and then find the Women's Roundtable there. Create a free account if you'd like. Feel free to comment. You'll get a rundown, one weekly email that has a rundown of the articles that happened that week, so you don't miss anything. So, feel free to do that. I'll be covering the team all season long and adding to my article list. You can look forward to a ton of great content all season long. I don't plan to hold back. They want us to share our own voices, and, I can't give opinions. That's why this podcast is sort of the great complement to that, because I can do a little bit more opinion here as I did today. But I'm really excited to be able to bring those articles to you. So definitely check those out. We'll put a link in the show notes where you can find them all. My profile may be a good one to bookmark, because then you can see when articles have come out so you don't miss any. And like I said, I'll be updating you here on our pod as well, so keep tuning in. We will definitely have all of your Seattle hockey covered this season. We're getting so close, and I'm so excited for it all to kick off. But I appreciate you spending some of your day with me. I always appreciate that so very much. You can follow us at BTW SEA on all of our socials. Make sure you do that so you're notified whenever we drop new content. And we just appreciate you hanging with us, supporting us, all the likes and the reshares and everything. It means so much to us, and we don't take it for granted. So thank you so much for all of that. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day and week, and we will be back in your ears very soon.